Hello everyone, you're watching the programme Capital Ideas Life. I'm the host, Mike Gibson. Last year we visited the capital of sunny Azerbaijan, Baku. Today our film crew is once again visiting this beautiful city. In the first few days of May, an interesting event is taking place here. It's called Moscow Days in Baku, including business meetings and creative sessions, different artists' performances, exhibitions, and many other events. We will cover all of this in today's programme. So, let's get started. On today's programme, Days of Moscow in Baku, a representative delegation of the Moscow government has arrived in the capital of Azerbaijan. Dialogue between the two capitals, how the business mission of the Moscow companies in Baku was so successful. Not only business, but culture too, a rich literary and theatrical program as part of Days in Moscow in Baku. Moscow and Baku are two cities with a rich history. They are the capitals of two states whose long-term friendship and strategic partnership are growing stronger and expanding every year.
For me, Russia is my second homeland. I've been to Moscow about 8 times. I have a lot of relatives there. The food is very tasty. Moscow is my home. Baku is my home. There's no difference for me.
Today's Azerbaijan is a multinational and multicultural country, home to representatives of over 15 nationalities. At the same time, most of the population knows the Russian language well. Children learn it in schools. In 2022, over 11,000 Azerbaijani students studied at Russian universities.
We studied at a Russian school in Azerbaijan. There are a lot of Russian-speaking people here. Coming to the city and not being shown around or given directions is not something you have to worry about.
This spring, a new opportunity emerged for residents of Baku to become better acquainted with Russian culture and traditions, as well as to establish friendly and business relations with Russians. The Days of Moscow were held in the capital of Azerbaijan. The 3-day program of events was organized by the government of Moscow with the support of the executive authorities of Baku, the Russian embassy in Azerbaijan, the Russian House in Baku, and the Ministry of Culture of the Republic of Azerbaijan. The Russian delegation was headed by Sergei Cheryomin, who is Minister of the Moscow government and head of the Department of Foreign, Economic and International Relations.
We often exchange delegations. Many of our departments actively participate in international events, which are held in Moscow or in Baku. And today we continue to discuss various projects and prospects.
The Days of Moscow and Baku are timed with the celebration of the anniversary of the President Heydar Aliyev Aliyev, the national leader of Azerbaijan. On May the 10th, 2023, the country celebrated his 100th birthday. It was Heydar Aliyev who laid the foundation for strategic cooperation between the Russian Federation and the Republic of Azerbaijan, who made huge personal contributions towards strengthening the friendship between Moscow and Baku. During the years of Aliyev's presidency over the nation, the look of the city itself changed dramatically. Today, it is a sunny, hospitable metropolis with modern architecture and comfortable, well-equipped streets.
In general, Baku used to be a highly developed industrial city, possessing a huge number of industrial plants and shipyards. And over the years, the city's area of expertise has changed a little. Some of these enterprises were moved outside the capital. Now they are located in other areas. Baku has become more of a center that services tourists.
The capital of Azerbaijan is a generous and hospitable city. Its residents love and know how to make friends, how to socialize and celebrate festive events. One such festive event was organized for them by residents of the capital of Russia. As part of the Days of Moscow in Baku, the guests brought with them a busy and exciting program. We're now located near the Heydar Aliyev Cultural Center. This impressive building is one of the most famous landmarks of Baku. The Heydar Aliyev Center was designed by the world-renowned architect Zaha Hadid and is recognized as an unofficial symbol of modern Baku. Various business and cultural events are often held here. That evening, in a concert hall designed for an audience of 2,000 people, there wasn't a single empty seat. The Days of Moscow in Baku opened with a concert by the Russian art group, the Turetsky Choir.
This hall is very demanding. It has seen the best artists, world stars. I have performed here before. The acoustics here are very good. It's a great pleasure to perform. And here indeed, if you are a true artist, you will be understood and heard here.
The famous musical group was founded by and is named after the people's artist of Russia, Mikhail Turetsky. This is not just a choir, but a true art group whose performances are successfully held at the world's leading concert venues. The last time the choir visited Baku was in 2018. As part of the Days of Moscow, the musicians were on the stage at the Heydar Aliyev Cultural Center together with the soloists of the women's group Soprano Turetsky.
We gathered as boys in the Turetsky choir in our youth and have already been on stage for, 32 years. 14 years ago, a women's project also appeared, 7 sopranos, the best voices of Russia, a new generation of women. We work together for such joint trips very often. The secret is that we love our work. Higher musical education, the best in the world, coming from the USSR. That is the Sveshnikov Choral School, the Moscow Conservatory, Gnesenka. That was the best musical education of those times. It cements us, yes, it is the foundation.
That evening, the soloists of Mikhail Turetsky's group performed well-known compositions from different years for the Baku public. The musicians have a very diverse repertoire. It includes world classics, rock, opera, jazz, popular and folk music.
An incredible concert. Most importantly, we managed to create the atmosphere that we had missed so much. I was on my own. I didn't see anybody in the hall, only the stage. Today's concert was an enormous delight for me. I really enjoyed the performance of this group, the soprano, the way they all performed and sang with such great voices. I think such voices are few and far between in the world today. We knew for sure that it would be a great pleasure for us, but of course we couldn't imagine that it would be that breathtaking, that energizing and on such a large scale. We had a very good time. It was exciting. We really liked it. I wish there were more events like this one, and then our friendship would probably get stronger too.
Moscow-Baku, a dialogue between two capitals. This is the name of the conference that is taking place today as part of the business program of the festival Moscow Days in Baku. More than 120 delegates have come to the event. Participants at the conference discussed the interaction between the two capitals in areas of culture, business, the economy, urban planning, and many other topics.
Our companies have held hundreds of meetings with Azerbaijani firms, and I think that this will be implemented in specific projects in the near future. Cooperation between Moscow and Azerbaijan is also important in terms of developing the logistic chains and the North-South corridor. Statistics indicate that in the last quarter alone, trade and cargo traffic operating along this corridor almost doubled in comparison to the previous year.
To date, there are 1,456 enterprises with Russian participation registered in Azerbaijan. At the same time, Baku entrepreneurs make no secret regarding their interest in goods and materials that are manufactured in Russian regions, including Moscow.
We are here today in order to increase the number of our manufacturers, because the number in Russia is also going up. For example, Every year we participate in exhibitions such as Mosbuild, Rosbuild, Aquaterm. Most of them take place in Moscow, and we often meet with Russian manufacturers there, whose products are very much worth their salt. Products that meet all standards, European and Russian GOST standards. It is a very important event for us to get to know each other better, as well as to have more opportunities to see which side is in need of which particular goods.
As part of the conference, Moscow-Baku, dialogue between two capitals, two round-table discussions took place, upgrading and creating a comfortable urban environment, the experience of Moscow and Baku, and development of creative industries as a factor in the economic development of capitals on the Euro-Asian continent. The sessions were attended by expert representatives of the Moscow and Azerbaijani communities.
In Moscow, this is a very large agency of creative industries that are engaged specifically in collecting technologies, helping young entrepreneurs, medium-sized businesses and small businesses. Grants are being issued. A wonderful Moscow Fashion Week is being organized. This is just a great story. Today, when the supply chains have been broken, when we cannot buy the brands we are used to, we have discovered, for ourselves, for myself and for many of my friends, new Russian brands that are very good in quality, and they are creative, they are original.
Active development of creative industries is now being observed in Baku. For example, local experts are making every effort to preserve the national traditions of carpet weaving and create the brand Azerbaijani carpet.
It is highly important to create an industry that will in turn develop the cultural sector, and at the same time to think over economic profits and to create a good platform for exporting Azerbaijani carpets abroad.
We've just arrived at the International Mugam Center. In just a few minutes, the parliamentary chess tournament will commence. Let's go and watch the game. The chess tournament, like the days of Moscow and Baku, was timed to coincide with the 100th anniversary of Heydar Aliyev. The statesman attached great importance to the development of sports in Azerbaijan. Chess in the country is supported at a governmental level.
Chess, like sports itself, is one of the ways for establishing friendship between people, between nations. And in this regard, of course, we should strive to develop chess as a sport, and in principle, any other kind of sports. It's a competition. In our country, chess is very trendy, very popular, because recently our government and our federation have been paying a lot of attention to it. They will do everything possible to develop chess, because chess is not only a game. It helps the development of children a lot, because logical thinking plays a very important role in their growth. Chess is a unique kind of sport. It's democratic. Everyone can play it. It does not depend on physical abilities. Only mental capabilities matter. Chess is an oriental game that is highly respected in the East, that is, in Azerbaijan, where you and I are now standing.
In the tournament, deputies of the Moscow City Duma and parliamentarians of Azerbaijan competed with young students of the Baku chess school White Horse. This is a blitz tournament. That is, each player has exactly 5 minutes. Look at the concentration on their faces. I'm interested to see who will win.
Playing at the chessboard is all about celebrating the heat of the moment, the competition and the burning desire to win, especially when you play blitz in 5 minutes. Many people forget that there's still time because we are used to playing without a clock. I'm not much of a professional. My dad taught me how to play as a child, and that stayed with me for the rest of my life.
Denise Abusheva is in her second year of study at the chess school, but she's already setting herself the highest goals and dreams of becoming a grandmaster. According to Denise, she came to this sport to win.
I saw that we were going to have a tournament when I was in the 3rd grade. I decided to give it a try, because back then I only knew how to move a pawn, and I thought maybe I could win. I lost and said, well, this is somehow not right. Later, I had a goal of winning first place in my first tournament. I decided to start learning how to play chess, and eventually I won.
According to the results of the competition, as it should be at such tournaments, friendship won overall. In the finals, all players were awarded certificates and memorable prizes. As part of the cultural program of the Days of Moscow in Baku, the Heydar Aliyev Center opened the exhibition Old Baku through the lens of the Russian Geographical Society, the first photographs of the city. The exposition showcased unique photographs of the capital of Azerbaijan taken in the 19th century.
We brought from our archive unique photographs obtained via the prototype method. This is a mid-19th century technology that produced the sharpest photographs until the invention of digital photography, that is until the end of the 20th century.
This photo was taken by Alexander Ulsky in 1857. It is called the Rock of Cape Shulan, near which the steamship Cuba crashed while exploring the Caspian Sea. Many experts believe that this is the earliest landscape photo of the Caucasus. Also, during the expedition of 1856 to 1867, Russian geographers drew detailed maps of the Caspian Sea, which were later used by navigators for almost 100 years.
This is precisely the period when steamship navigation began to develop in the Caspian Sea. And it required new sea routes, new ways. For this, filming was necessary. For these new large ships that were to trade with the Caucasus, with Iran, with Central Asia, and they would bring Russian goods there, and conversely goods from these territories to Russia.
You can get a glimpse of the history of Baku not only in photos. A mandatory route for any traveller who arrives in the capital of Azerbaijan runs through the old city, Ichiri Sheker. Wonderful. In the old city, fortress walls, mosques, residential buildings, and the famous Maiden's Tower built in the 12th century have been preserved. This is the living history of the city. This is a genuine courtyard in the old city. People live here. It's not a museum. As part of the cultural program of the Days of Moscow, Baku hosted a tour of the Moscow Theatre School of Modern Plays. On the stage of the Azerbaijani State Russian Drama Theatre, named after Samed Vurgun, the play In the Moonlight was shown.
Put down a full pack. You know that I'm an invalid. Doesn't that bother you? I just like you very much.
The play, In the Moonlight, is based on the work by playwright Vladimir Litsky, The Fool and the Prisoner. This is a story about a strange girl who falls in love with the wrong person, a thief and a swindler. A small but important role in the performance is played by People's Artist of Russia, Elena Sarnaeva.
The public loves this play, and from the audience we can understand how strong the craving for sincere feelings is in people. How much people want to love and be loved. And that's what this play is about. This play will be understood in any part of the world. It is absolutely intended for a wide audience. It doesn't matter whether it's to be performed in Baku, in Georgia, in America or in France. It's a very simple story, very human, understandable. It will be touching as it is about people.
The Azerbaijan State Academic Russian Drama Theatre, named after Samed Vurgun, on whose stage the play was shown, is already over 100 years old. Having existed since 1920, it has changed its name several times, but invariably attracted the attention of the sophisticated Azerbaijani theatrical public.
This is our lobby. It's a place where you can find all our plays. Here's our box office.
There are so many posters here.
Yes, these are the posters with all our plays and guest performers. From July 1st to 9th, we will have guest performers from Vladivostok. It will be their first time in Baku. They will bring 9 shows to perform. We're working for 9 days.
The Russian drama theatre has always been among those in highest demand, one of the most popular among Baku theatregoers. At one time, famous Soviet actors such as Faina Ranevska and Mikhail Zharov performed here. That night, the audience at the theatre was not disappointed either.
A great performance, a very warm atmosphere. Everything was very sincere, precisely in the center of Baku, at the Russian Drama Theatre. Naturally, the whole event was very impressive. I liked it a lot, the performance, the onstage cast. Firstly, when 2 people on stage initially hold the attention of the whole audience, the entire house in suspense. What will happen next? I really enjoyed it.
The next day, within the framework of Days of Moscow, the Russian House in Baku hosted a creative meeting with actress Elena Tsarnaeva.
The people there sat for a long time. In fact, few could have kept the audience enraptured for so long. And there was silence. People were listening attentively.
She's the fox lady from this Russian movie from the Soviet Union called Buratino, but it's actually Pinocchio. It was one of my favorite. Her acting is pretty good.
The Russian House in Baku always organizes such creative evenings, along with very exciting cultural interactions and the mutual blending of the Russian and Azerbaijani cultures.
At the same time, another creative meeting was held in another part of the city. As part of the Days of Moscow in Baku, the well-known Russian writer Yuri Polyakov arrived in the capital of Azerbaijan. Writer Yuri Polyakov is a welcome guest in Baku. Here his books are loved and published not only in Russian, but also in Azerbaijani. Today, he flew back to this beautiful city to meet with his readers and his colleagues. During the meeting with readers, Yuri Polyakov was not alone on stage, but with his colleague and old friend, People's Writer of Azerbaijan, Chingiz Abdullayev.
I'm proud that such a big delegation has arrived. Among them are my old acquaintances, with whom I've known and been friends with for many years. And that includes Yuri Polyakov. I've known him for more than 30 years. I've been reading his books for over 40 years. And I should say that, of course, the word has always united people. It is no secret that over a whole century, Azerbaijani literature has been entering the world with the help of the Russian language. Our books were translated into Russian and then made it to Europe and the whole world. The audience was very special today, because there were many teachers, students, school children who were learning Russian. And of course, I think it's also attributed to the fact that we were paired together with a wonderful Azerbaijani writer, who, by the way, writes in Russian, Chingiz Abdullayev. He's very well known in Russia, and of course, first of all, in Azerbaijan, as a writer of detective stories.
All events within the framework of the Days of Moscow in Baku were held to a full house. They were covered by numerous representatives of local media, as well as our colleagues, journalists of the Moscow 24 TV channel. They filmed reports, interviewed guests and official representatives of the delegation, so that when they returned to the Russian capital, they could tell Muscovites about it and, of course, share their impressions of sunny Baku with TV viewers.
Firstly, of course, we found friendship between nations.
That's true.
The tasty dish baklava.
Very.
Have you tried it?
Already many times. And the people are very warm and good,
Very open.
very soulful.
Azerbaijani drivers have rescued us so many times already, and they've helped so many times in shops. Every time we've asked for help, everybody has been open-hearted. We can say with certainty that the days of Moscow were a big success. They will become another important chapter in the development of the relations between our countries. I believe these are not the last days of Moscow in Baku, and I'm sure that we will come back here more than once.
So the eventful and bright days of Moscow in Baku have come to an end. The guests from the Russian capital could once again feel the warmth of this wonderful city and also to share with its residents all the best from Moscow. I hope we'll be back here soon. I'm Mike Gibson, and this is the program Capital Ideas Live. See you next time. Bye.